Hello everyone. So welcome to today's class. We'll be taking addition and subtraction of directed numbers. Addition and subtraction of directed numbers. Now we need two rules to add and subtract directed numbers. We need rules. So these are the rules. One, when pairs of numbers carry the same sign, we add the digit and keep the sign that they carry. Two, when pairs of numbers carry different signs, we find their difference and keep the sign of the bigger number. Now, this is one of the key topics at this foundational mathematics that doesn't happen in a day. It takes consistent building, consistent practice to finally get used to these rules. To finally get used to these rules. In fact, this is one of the topics that I'm going that the activity will be enough because I believe in constant practice of these things. So let's see. When pairs of numbers carry the same sign, please look at this. It's just simple. Rule one talks about the same sign or talks about same sign. Rule two talks about different signs. So when pairs of numbers carry the same sign, what do? We add the digits, add the numbers, and keep the sign that they carry. Add the numbers and keep the sign that they carry. Now, this other one talks about when they carry different signs. When pairs of numbers carry different signs, we do what? We find the difference, and keep the sign of the bigger number. Please do well to copy out these rules. Pause the video, copy out these rules first. In fact, try to what I do, my children I ask them to recite the rules. My pupils and students, you recite the rules for some time and it gets into your brain. When pairs of numbers carry the same sign, you add the numbers. Same sign you add the numbers and keep the sign because they carry the same sign and keep the sign that they carry. And then different signs, you subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the bigger number. Now, before we go to the examples, we must take a look or we must understand what the sign of a number is. What is the sign of a number? Now, a number either has plus or minus. A number carries either plus or minus. Now, how do we know? Every number, the sign of a number is before the number. The sign of a number comes before that number, not after the number. The sign of a number comes before the number. So, number one, we are seeing 3 minus 20. 3 minus 20. What is the sign of 3? The sign of 3. Now, when you have a case where you don't see the sign, either plus or minus, that means that the sign there is plus. Remember, 3 is the same thing as saying plus 3. 3 is the same thing as saying plus 3. So when you have a case where you don't see a sign before the number, know that the sign there is what? Is plus. The sign there is plus. So take note of that. Okay, and then what is the sign of 20? The sign of 20 is what? Minus. Minus. The sign before a number is the sign of that number. Okay, so move, let's check the rules. Now, the first thing we must know is that we must be able to identify the signs of the numbers involved. We must be able to identify the signs of the numbers involved. So 3 minus 20, of course, we have plus here. So what do we have? Same sign or different sign? This is plus and this is minus. So that would be what? Different signs. And let's go back to the rules. Different signs, what do? We find their difference. That means we subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the bigger number. So you ignore the sorry. So you subtract the numbers and then you keep the sign of the bigger number. So how do we subtract? That will give us 20 minus 3, and that will give us what? 17. 17. So our answer will contain 17. But what sign will it carry? What was the sign of the bigger number? 3 carried plus, 20 carried what? Minus. So what do we have? The sign of the bigger number is minus. That's the sign we are going to keep. So minus 17. That's the sign we keep. We keep the sign of the bigger number, and that is our answer. So 3 minus 20 is equal to minus 17. We move to number 2. We move to number 2. Minus 21 plus 4. Minus 21 plus 4. Same sign or different signs? Same sign or different signs? This is minus. 21 carries minus and 4 carries plus. So different signs. Different signs means we will subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. And that will give us 21 minus 4. That will still be, I think that's still 17. 17, and then the sign of the bigger number is minus, so minus 17. Okay, so we'll come to the next question. This one involves three numbers. Three numbers. So what do? We take it one after the other. It's just like you having 9 plus 6 minus 8. What do? You do 9 plus 6 first, and then the answer minus 8. So that's the same thing we'll be doing here. Okay, so let's see, what do we have? 8 minus 9. 8 minus 9. What is the sign of 8? Sign of 8 is plus. So 8 minus 9, that's different sign. So we subtract 9 minus 8, and that will give us 1. And then we'll keep the sign of the bigger number. The sign of the bigger number is minus. So that will give us minus 1 plus 10. Minus 1 plus 10, and that will be equal to minus 1. 1 carries minus and 10 carries plus. So what do we have? We subtract, because that's different signs. 10 minus 1, and that will be equal to 9. And then what is the sign of the bigger number? The bigger number carries plus. 10 is the bigger number, it carries plus. So what do we have there? That will give us plus 9, because we are keeping the sign of the bigger number. Okay, let's come down here. Number 4, how many do we have? Let's see what we have here. Please follow this question carefully. Minus 13 plus 17 minus 10 minus 12 plus 1. This will be equal to, so we'll take it one after the other. Minus 13 plus 17. We are dealing with this now. Minus 13 plus 17. Same sign or different signs? Let's see. Minus here and plus here, that's different signs. So we'll subtract 13 minus 17 minus 13. The subtraction there, just take the big number minus the small number, and that will give us 4. So what is the sign of the bigger number? Plus. So our answer will give us plus 4 minus 10 minus 12 plus 1. Okay, so we proceed. This will be equal to, now plus 10 or plus 4 minus 10. Plus 4 minus 10, what would that give us? This is plus here, and this is minus, different signs. So we'll subtract 10 minus 4. That will give us 6. Sign of the bigger number is minus. So that will give us minus 6 minus 12 plus 1. Minus 6 minus 12 plus 1. And what would that give us? This will be equal to, so we'll now take minus 6 minus 12. Minus 6 minus 12. 6 has minus sign and 12 has minus sign. So that is same sign, same sign. What do we do in same sign? We add the numbers. So we do 12 plus 6. That will give us 18. And then we keep the sign that they carry. So that will give us minus 18 plus 1. Minus 18 plus 1, and that will be equal to, what do we have? Minus 18 and then plus 1. Different sides, we subtract. 18 minus 1, that will be equal to what? That will be equal to 17. And then we keep the sign of the bigger number, which is minus. So minus 17. Okay, so that is the end of the examples. Now, when you are adding and subtracting directed numbers, please take note. Take note. It doesn't happen, you don't just start and then they think. It takes gradual following of the rules. Keep the rules by the side. Gradual following of the rules. Gradual following of the rules. Mistakes are bound to happen here if you don't follow the rules. When you are having the same sign, you add the numbers and keep the sign that they carry. And then when you are having different signs, you do what? You subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Please follow the rules carefully. Follow the rules carefully. Don't be in a hurry to get there. Follow the rules bit by bit. As you keep on solving, the understanding is coming. So very soon, you don't need to even write it out. Very soon, the answer comes directly from your brain, and then you get it correct. Okay, so you have activity here. Like I said, this is one topic I always give activity so much because it doesn't come suddenly. It takes gradual process. It takes gradual process. Please keep the rules by the side. Keep the rules side by side and then follow the rules carefully. Thank you for watching this video. Please do well to like, to share, and also subscribe. See you in our next class.